Hey, Russell Leeds here, and this is step 3 of the winner sales system. So just to very quickly recap to where we're at. Last week we looked at investigate, how to find out what it was your client wants. The week before we looked at won over, which is how to make sure that you love your product, because before you're sold on it, you can't sell it. So we now got to N, which is for no-brainer. So basically the idea of this is to present your product or your service in such a way that it is a no-brainer for your clients, so that they would have to be crazy not to buy it. So I just want to share with you a few tips of how to do that, how to create your no-brainer. The first is that I like to use a script. Now, scripts are quite controversial among salespeople. A lot of people don't like scripts, some people do. The main reason for not liking scripts is that it sounds like a script. You know, you probably hear those people that ring you up, selling insurance. Hi, can I speak to Russell Leeds, please? Yes, it's so-and-so calling from this insurance. And you can just tell that they're just reading it as they go. Now, in that case, I agree. I hate scripts like that. It does sound terrible. Please do not be that person. However, I think that scripts are actually great, and I would recommend using one for your business. And this is why. First of all, if you've ever seen a great film, or if you've ever watched, where someone delivers a great line or a great speech, the president's speech, that is a script. They're reading that. Winston Churchill's speech, that was a script. He didn't just make it up off the top of his head, he scripted it. Why did he script it? The reason he scripted it was because he wanted to make sure he made all the points in the best way possible, and you're better to do that by writing it down rather than just making it up off the top of your head. So using a script is a very good thing to do, as long as it doesn't sound like you're using a script. So just memorize it. So just read it, and just read it in such a way that you can't tell that it's a script. So when you're writing a script, don't write it like written text. Write it how you would say it. And the reason you're going to write it is because it's going to come across much better if you write it and think through the points rather than just making it up off the top of your head every time. That's the first reason. The second reason is, if you're planning on growing your business, so it's not just you as the salesperson, do you want your salespeople just to be making up whatever they want to say? Or do you want them to say it perfectly, exactly how you say it, exactly how you want them to say it, and exactly how you've tried it time and time and time and time again? Of course, you're going to want to do that. So the most important thing when you're using a script, if you do, and I highly recommend that you do, is that you just make sure that you don't deliver it like a script. Leonardo DiCaprio gave an amazing speech as Jordan Belfort on Wolf of Wall Street. He didn't make that up. It was a script, and you could do the exact same thing. So how do you write your script? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write down all the great things about your product, not the things that everyone would say. Try and think about the things that makes your product different from all your competitors. So really dig deep into what's great about you, why you're different, and write every single one of them down. You're going to start off by doing that to make your script, and then each one you're going to write down how you would best communicate that message to the person that you are speaking to. Now the thing is, when you deliver this script, you're not going to read the whole thing. You want this far long, or you're not going to even say the whole thing. You want this longer than what you're going to deliver. So when you're doing your investigation parts, you're going to find out which bits they like, which bits are interesting to them, and then when you deliver your script, maybe go for like 2 or 3 of them. Don't oversell. Don't go on and on and on and bore people, because people are impatient and they want you just to get to the point. They don't want to be sold to for an hour and a half. They just want enough information to actually go ahead and make a decision. So you're going to be sensing that when you're going through. Pick maybe 2 or 3 of the key points that you think will stand out to that person, fulfill their needs, and be what they want, and just go for those. And then my other tip, as well as writing it down like that, is you want to be telling people about the benefits to them, not about the features of the product. So I talk about this in my book, The Entrepreneur's Blueprint, and the example that I give is for a computer. So I went into a PC world, and I told the guy in the store that I was looking for a laptop, and he was like, "Oh, you're going to want to use this laptop." I can't even remember what he was saying. I did write it down, but it's a 350Z processor with a 250 gigabyte hard drive and a this and that. Now, I like using computers, but I don't know anything about that sort of thing. So for me, this was just, he might as well have been speaking a foreign language. I had no idea what he was talking about, and these were all the features of the product, but I didn't know what the benefit was for me. So what he should have been asking is, he should have, when I first went in the store, is rather than just picking a computer and trying to sell it to me and just jamming all these features down my throat, he should be saying, what do you want to use a laptop for? Why have you come to PC World? What exactly are you looking for? Find out what I wanted, and then he'd have known it was for surfing the internet or whatever it was. And then he should be saying, this has got a 250 gigabyte processor, which means, now the benefit, which means that you're going to be able to download all these pictures or do the video editing, whatever it is I told them I want to do. Yeah. So when you're writing your script, don't just give the boring features. Oops, just broke the flower. Don't just give the boring features. Give the benefits of what it is for them. So make sure you're very, very clear. And you might think, well, the benefit's obvious. If you have a 350Z processor, it's obvious that you're going to get this. It isn't obvious. Okay. You know your product far better than your customer knows your product, and what seems obvious to you might not be obvious to them. Okay, so make sure that you give the features, you give the benefits, go through 3 or 4 of the selling points, and save some back. We'll explain why in a few weeks' time, but you should have a lot more bits of your script. I like to have at least kind of 3 scripts that I'm working off, and I only deliver 1, so I save 2 of them back. Even better if you can do it in points. So let's say you've got 10 really good selling points. You might deliver 3 of those selling points to the person at this stage, okay? But just read it, man. Obviously, if you're meeting them face to face, you can't read it, you need to learn it. But if you're doing it over the phone, you can just have it in front of you to remind you, or have bullet points, just remind you of what you say. You'll get in the habit of saying the same thing over and over again. But the idea here is to wrap up your product so that for your customer, it's a no-brainer. If you've done the investigation properly, if you've got a great product and you've done the first 2 steps properly, you know what they want and you can help them, you can deliver that to them. You just need to let them know that. Make sure it's a no-brainer, so they would be crazy to say no. However, a lot of the time they will say no, and on next week we're going to be looking at the negotiation, how you negotiate, how you close the deal. And make sure you actually get the business, because just selling it and making it a no-brainer is not enough. You now need to negotiate, and you need to make sure that you're there to close the deal. So we're going to be looking at that next week. If you haven't watched the other 2 videos, One Over and Investigate, go and check those out, because you're going to make sure you need to do those first. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Please do not forget to subscribe. If you'd like to see a bit more detail, check out my book, The Entrepreneur's Blueprint, which is getting released very, very soon. It's got this section in, but there's loads of other information in there as well about how you can grow and run a business if you're starting out, or if you're planning on starting a business. Invaluable information in that book. Please do check it out, and I will see you next week.